Okay. All right. So welcome everybody. This is kind of an extension of the last call we did on building for volume. So I just wanted to follow up on some of that stuff and then talk in a little bit more detail. And also for some of the newer coaches, just go over some of the basics of how volume works and, how you can really build to make sure that you've got a long lasting, good, solid organization. So if any of you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to chime in and ask. And I think towards the end, if you've got like more detailed type questions, then we can go over that too. But, for what we're talking about, don't hesitate to unmute yourself and ask questions as we go along, especially if you're a newer coach and are unclear about any of this. For those of us that have been around for a while, some of the things that we talk about is just like common vocabulary. So if there's anything that you're unsure about, make sure and speak up and let me know. So I'm going to share with you. Let's see. We'll just go here. The little PowerPoint that I made. Okay. And I'm not super good at, I made this on this Google Pages or whatever it is. Okay, so we'll just go from here. Okay, so building for income. So first off, let's talk a little bit about just the different ways. We already talked about this last time, but just in case anybody is unclear about it. So the different ways that you earn, obviously, you sell products, you start a challenge group and you sell some, challenge packs, Shakeology, on demand, whatever. You get your 25% commission on those sales. Next one, the cycle bonus. And we touched on this last time. The cycle bonus is based off of the volume of the coaches that are signed up underneath you. So what we'll talk about in a little bit, like I said, I've got the whiteboard back here. We're gonna kind of break this down. But so coaches that are placed underneath you contribute to your team volume, and your team volume is what makes up your cycle bonus. And so if you have an upline that signs up a coach, so say you're on the right leg of your upline coach. So your coach signs up the new coach and places them on the right leg. Well, that coach is now underneath you because they signed up after you on the same leg, and so the volume that they produce trickles up to you. So you benefit from that. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so all of that volume, all of your downline, so your coaches, coaches that are placed there from upline coaches, all of that contributes to the volume that you have sitting there. And as soon as you're emerald, then you can start cycling and cashing in on that. So that's what the cycle bonus comes from. The matching bonus is anytime that you have a coach that earns a cycle bonus, then Beachbody pays you a bonus on top of that. So you're not taking anything away from your coach. It's just an extra bonus on top of that. You get 10%. So if your coach earns a $100 cycle bonus, you get $10 just for free, just for helping that coach be successful. And then the next one is the quarterly bonus. So every quarter, if you're 2-star, 5-star, 10-star, or 15-star, you get a quarterly bonus. So basically, this is just profit sharing. So based off of the number of, 2-star coaches, if there's, 1,000 2-star coaches, then Beachbody contributes 0.5% of their income into the quarterly bonus. So, it depends. It'll change every quarter what it is. If you're a 5-star, then you get the 2-star and the 5-star bonus. And those can really pay you really well. There's some coaches that will build strictly to, get to that 10-star, 15-star, and they'll just, do everything they can to get to those ranks so that they can cash in on this quarterly bonus, because that it ends up paying a ton of money if you can get there. So that's, a way that you can build your business. What we're going to talk about is not necessarily pushing for that rank, but pushing for volume, so that you're not kind of, scrambling and hoping and forcing your way to get there, but you can build a solid organization that's going to continue to pay you week after week after week, instead of just waiting for a chunk of money at the end of the quarter. Okay, so notice that 3/4 of the ways that you can earn all come from a team. And so the more that you can help your team be successful, the more that you can mentor your coaches and help them and support them, teach them, the better off that you're going to be in your organization. Okay, so let's talk about placement. So I'm going to bring up the whiteboard right here. And why this is important all comes down to the bonuses that we talked about. So the cycle bonus, and also the quarterly bonus, because to be 5-star, you've got to have a balance of coaches on your right and your left side. To be 5-star, you have to have 2 diamond coaches on one side, at least 2 on one side, at least 3 on another side. Okay, so you've got to have balance. So it's important, as we talk about volume, that we're not strictly solely only going for volume, but you also have to worry about rank a little bit, because you can cap out your volume and your income if you're not progressing in rank as well. But as you're doing the right behaviors, that will all come, so don't worry about it. Okay, so let's talk about placement. If you have a question about your volume and because we're going to talk about your strong and your weak leg. So if you're unsure about which leg is your strong or your weak leg, if you go into your office and look up under My Business, and then you can look up your My Business and then My Volume, and then you can either select from either carryover volume or just your My Volume. Don't click on the carryover volume, click on the regular volume. And whichever leg on there, if you look on your right or your left side, whichever leg has the most volume, that's what's considered your strong leg. And that can change. Generally, if your upline coach signs you up on their right leg, then your strong leg is going to be the right leg. But like I said, all of the strong and the weak, all that means is just which leg has the most volume in it. Okay, and that's the strong leg. The leg that has the lesser amount of volume is your weak leg. Okay, that's all it is. And it can change from right to left. It's my strong leg can be my right leg, and Christy's can be her left leg. It doesn't matter right versus left. Okay, so this is you as a coach right here. You've got your right leg. Okay, so you've got, I don't even know, can you guys see that okay, or is there too much of a glare? Not too well. Let's see. A little bit better. I think that glare's still there. Okay. Okay, so this is you as a coach. Left. Okay, so this is your right side. This is your left side. This is you, and these are your first 2 coaches that you sign up. Okay, so you're an Emerald coach. Your upline is, you're on the right leg of your upline. Okay, so we're going to say that this is your strong leg. Okay, and all that means, like I said, is just that this leg has more volume. So when your coach adds a coach onto their right side, it's going to go on, this leg. It's going to come on this leg right here. And so that volume, then that team volume. So when this coach signs up another coach, when they sell a challenge pack, anything that produces volume, that team volume goes up to you. Okay. And so you're benefiting from that. That's what you can cycle off of. Okay. So say that, this is you right here and you sign up your spouse. Okay. So the first coach that you sign up is your spouse. The second coach that you sign up is your best friend from college. So if you have a challenge pack and you sell that challenge pack to another friend, what happens if you have your friend order from your husband's website or your spouse's website or whatever? Okay, so if your friend orders the challenge pack from your spouse's website, then your spouse gets the commission, and the volume goes up towards you, right? So whether the commission is earned through this account or this account, it doesn't really matter, right? Because both you and your spouse, basically should be the same type of, the money's coming into the same household either way, right? So you're getting the commission plus you're getting the volume. So if you compare that to if you send them to your website, then you get the commission, but you're not getting the team volume to cycle off of, right? So this is a way that you can kind of use your spouse's account to double dip on getting income. Now, the downside to that is you don't get the Success Club points under your account, which, does that matter a lot? No, not really, because if you're driven by recognition, then sure, it would matter. Other than that, I think on the last call we talked about the benefits of hitting Success Club, and there is you get certain rewards and the trips and stuff like that. But if you're looking just solely to produce volume and produce income, this is a great way to do it. Now, if you're signing up a coach, like I said, the key here is you want to try to cycle as much as possible. So if you put orders through your spouse, that's going to help you cycle even more. If you sign up a coach, you want to sign up coaches that are sponsored by yourself, because you need to make sure that you're rank advancing to keep up with the volume. Because like I said, there's caps on how much you can earn per rank. So if you're an emerald rank, you can only earn a certain amount of money before it's capped out. So you got to make sure that you're progressing. But like I said, if you're doing the right behaviors, if you look at the on the screen there, if you're doing the right behaviors, then it shouldn't really matter that much, right? Like you're doing the right behaviors, you're signing up coaches, you're helping them to hit Emerald, you're going to progress, and you're going to advance ranks. So it shouldn't really matter a whole lot, right? Okay. So let's see. I'm going to get rid of of that just so you guys can see. Okay. Is that easier to see now? Okay. So does this all make sense for everybody? Everybody get that? Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just moving my screen around so I can see my notes. Okay. Okay, so if this is your strong leg right here, that means that you've got the most volume on this side. And so as you're adding coaches, as you're selling products, you're doing that, you want to add that to your weak leg. Adding it to your weak leg, because the way that the cycle bonus works is every time you have, say, 200 volume on this side and 100 volume on this side, that means that you're going to cycle, right? And so every time that happens, then you cycle more and more. So if this side right here, if you've got, 2,000 volume on this side, because you've been putting all your orders and all your coaches, everything on this side, and this is your strong leg from your upline coach. If all of this, you're getting so much volume over here, but this one's still, very minimal volume, then you can only cycle that one time to where that 100 volume is gone, and then you don't cycle anymore, right? Because you've got to have volume on both sides. So just as you're building, make sure that these two legs, volume wise, is somewhat equal. And some people will say that you want to build like a 2-to-1, right? So your strong leg is going to be the 2, and your weak leg is going to be the 1. And that's fine, because the way that the cycles work is it's in a 2-to-1 ratio anyways. So you're going to you're going to cycle down to where this is 0 and this is 0, and that's really what you want. You want to be able to use all of your volume. Okay, so that's the goal right there. So remember that you want to be able to use all of your volume. What will happen though is why I tend to think that you should try to build so they're equal, so your right and your left side are equal. And the reason why is your strong leg, as long as you have an upline that's working, or coaches above you are working, then this strong leg is going to continue to produce volume, and it's going to continue to grow. And so this number can get really big, and your weak leg number may not get quite as big. And so there'll be a lot of volume just hanging out there, not being used. So the more that you can keep this at like an equal 1-to-1 ratio, then you're going to use up all of your volume that's hanging out there. Okay, so that's why I say do 1-to-1. Your strong leg and weak leg can change from day to day. So if you're using up all of this volume, you're taking 200 from this side every time it cycles, and pretty soon your strong leg has less volume than your weak leg. Well, now this one becomes strong, and they take 200 from this side and only 100 from this side, and it'll keep going like that until they flop again, and then it will just switch sides. So it really doesn't really matter that much. Every time you sign up a coach, or you've got questions about your volume or whatever, look it up. Like don't be afraid to look up your volume every week or whatever, and see where it's at. And then every time you sign up a coach, if you have a question about where should I put this coach, right? I don't know where I should put him. Well, just look where you need the volume, right? If your volume's getting out of balance, then put the new coach on the side that has that volume, and go from there. Right? Let's see. So a lot of people have so many questions about that. Well, I feel like this coach is going to be great, and so I want to make sure that they're on this leg, or I want to make sure they're on my weak leg, or I feel like they're going to be wonderful, so I need to I need them here so that they can balance out my two sides, and I can rank advance or whatever. But the reality is you can't control that coach. You don't really know what they're going to do. You can think that they're going to be wonderful, and they don't do as well as you thought they would, or they could you could undervalue them as a coach, and all of a sudden they just knock it out of the park and they're producing tons of volume for you. So you never really know. Just remember that. Where do I need the volume? Which side has the least amount of volume, and we'll put them there, put the coach there. Okay. And then you know what, if somebody knocks it out of the park and you're kicking yourself because they should have been on the other leg, you know what, put your next coach over on the other side and just keep going. Right. So you can't control it. It's always going to be fluid. It's always going to be changing. There's never going to be like, a rule of always put this coach on this side and, always put, whatever orders through there. You're going to have to play around with it. So just understand how this whole process works. and the more you can do that, the more you'll know, okay, well, I need this coach over here. I'm going to put him on this side, or whatever. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Anybody have questions on that or anything unclear? Okay, so one of the things that you can do is, I've got this on my notes, is you can sponsor the coach by you, but graphically they're placed under a spouse. So this is where it gets kind of interesting, right? So your spouse has a right and a left leg. So to get your spouse, as long as your spouse is an emerald rank, they can cycle too, right? So you can cycle, your spouse can cycle. You're putting a coach. This is their strong leg, right? So you put another coach right here on the weak leg, and so now you're balancing out these two. So your spouse's account is cycling all of this volume, right, from both legs. All of that volume is going up to you, and you're cycling even more and more. So that's pretty cool, right? I don't want to confuse you guys though with the strong and the weak leg. A lot of people will say to put your spouse on your weak leg, and some people say to put it on your strong leg. So don't get caught up too much in that strong or weak side. But say this is your weak leg. I think that's kind of traditionally what people will say is you want your spouse's account on your weak leg. Okay. So if this side is growing in volume, you're placing coaches over on this side under your spouse's account, and now your spouse is cycling, you're cycling, and you're really cashing in on this compensation plan. Now, if you're placing all these coaches on this side, your husband could be rank advancing, but maybe you're not rank advancing. One of the things that you can do, this is pretty cool, is when you sign up a coach, you can have them still sponsored by you. So they're your personally sponsored coach. So they'll help you rank advance. They'll count towards different leadership goals and stuff like that. So you have they're sponsored by you, but you can graphically place them down here on your spouse's weak leg. So that volume that this personally sponsored coach of yours goes up through your spouse is cycling. So it's the same idea as if they were sponsored by your spouse. They're sponsored by you, but they're placed right here. And so the volume goes up through there. Your spouse is cycling, you're cycling even more, and you're rank advancing because they're your personally sponsored coach. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? That's a cool way to go about doing that. But the whole key with this is that you're signing up coaches, right? Like that you're talking to people, you're engaging people, you're talking to people about coaches, you're building your business, you're starting conversations, you're helping people and all that. If you understand this and you want to build this way, but you're not talking to anybody, then you're not going to be signing up coaches, and it really doesn't matter, right? Okay, did you have a question? Somebody?
Yeah, how do you place that? Like, what is it that you set your placement to?
Yeah, so you'll
to get them underneath there.
Yeah. So you can set your placement to be, whatever really, because you've got a couple days after they sign up to change it. So you can have them placed over on whichever leg that you want. And then after they sign up, just contact Coach Relations and just tell them exactly that you want them still sponsored by you. Make sure that they have your coach ID number and all that it's staying sponsored by you, but geographically you want them placed underneath, whichever account that is. So you'd have that account information and you would tell them, I want them geographically placed on the weak leg of, this coach right here. And they can
okay. So you can't set up your placement like that. You just have to call and move it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not one of those automatic ones that you can do.
You can email them too.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. So if you're a newer coach and you're feeling like totally overwhelmed by this and you're like, what in the crap? Like all I'm doing is just trying to start a challenge group. Don't worry about it. You'll get there. Just keep doing the right behaviors. And like I said, the key with this is just continue doing the vital behaviors. And I've told this story before, but Tiffany, when she first signed up as a coach, she was doing the behaviors. She was helping people. She was talking to people. She started challenge groups every month. And she just did the behavior. She had no clue about any of this. And honestly, and she'll tell you this, so I'm not bashing her, but she still, like, she understands it. She knows how it all works and stuff, but she's not like deeply versed in all of this stuff. And that doesn't mean, that she has to do this to be successful. You just have to be doing the behaviors and ask questions along the way, right? Like that's what all of us are for. That's what all the uplines are for, is to help you to kind of figure this stuff out as you go along. But the key is that you're continually working and doing the right behaviors. Otherwise, none of this really even matters, right? Okay. So, any questions on that? Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then go back to my slides. Okay. And yes, that's a man on a horse in my screensaver, if you can see that. Tiffany gives me a hard time for that, but I like horses. Okay. So we talked a little bit about the Emerald Factory on the last call, but I wanted to go into just a little bit more depth with that one, because this is the direction that the most successful coaches in the company are going. And so I want you guys to have this in your mind as you're building, and know that the people that have built their businesses to be strong and lasting, long-lasting, successful, businesses that they're gonna hand off to their kids, and their kids are gonna run, and is gonna help them to get through life. This is the way that they build, and this is the way that I hope that you guys would kind of have your minds on, because it really will change generations if you can kind of wrap your mind around this and know that this is the way that the company's going. Well, the most successful coaches are going. Other people are not, but and the idea with this is the Emerald Factory. So what this means is that you yourself as a coach, you get to Emerald, and then those two coaches that you have signed up underneath you, you teach those two coaches to teach their coaches that they need to get to Emerald as well. And the benefits with that is you get free customers, you get leads, you get, cycle bonuses. That's really the foundation of a successful Beachbody coaching career, is that you get to Emerald. And if you can teach your coach and they can get to Emerald, and your other coach gets to Emerald, and then you sign up two more coaches, really you're just repeating Emerald over and over and over again, right? You sign up two coaches, you help them get to Emerald, and then you teach them to teach their coaches, and then and they keep going. You find new coaches, you teach them to get to Emerald, and then they teach their coaches to get to Emerald, and then you find two more, and you get to Emerald again, right? So that's the whole key, is you don't worry about, I got to have all these coaches, and I need to get to Diamond, and we talked about this on the call last time, was the difference between a Diamond ranked coach and a coach that builds this way, the Emerald way. The income is actually a lot more when you're building for volume and building this Emerald way, rather than just trying to get for the rank of Diamond. Okay, so teach your coaches to teach their coaches that they need to get to Emerald, and then you do that all over again yourself. Okay, so how do you get to Emerald? So let's make sure that this is clear, that you guys know this. To be an Emerald, you have to have at least 50 PV. So PV is different from, that's personal volume. That's different from team volume, right? We talked about that, where the coaches that are below you, when they sell stuff, that trickles up to you and creates team volume. Okay, so that's the volume that your team creates. It's going to be less than personal volume. So if you sell Shakeology, you get 90 PV, personal volume, because you personally sold it, or you personally bought it for yourself for your own consumption. That's personal volume. The team volume is less than that. So if a coach below you, one of your personally sponsored coaches, if they sell Shakeology, they get their 90 PV, and then there's, I think, like 40 to 50 team volume or something like that trickles up to you. So it's less volume, but it's still volume there. Okay, so to be an Emerald, you yourself have to have 50 PV. So that means you're selling any number of products. Could be the Derm exclusive stuff. It could be Total Refresh. It could be on demand. It could be combination of performance products. Anything, any of that counts towards your personal volume. And then you have to have at least one personally sponsored active coach on your left and on your right side. Okay, at the end of the bonus week, and I've got the details there. So the bonus week or the bonus period is like a rolling month period. So the week that you're in, plus the 4 previous weeks, that's when it is. And the bonus week is from Thursday to the following Wednesday. Okay, so that's the week. That's the Beachbody week. Okay, so that's how that all works. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So, well, let me go back. So the volume thing, I just wanted to touch on that, and we talked about this last time, but I just wanted to reiterate that is as you're helping people and serving people, and you're finding out what their needs are, that gives you the opportunity to recommend products to them. So like I said, whether they're struggling with energy to get their workouts done, and you recommend Energize, or they're really sore after their workouts, and so you recommend Recovery. They're struggling with nutrition, and so you recommend Shakeology to them. There's so many different products that Beachbody has that don't limit yourself to believing that you just have to sell challenge packs, that you have to get everybody on Shakeology and everybody on demand, and that's the only thing that you're going to offer. And if they don't want that, then you're going to dismiss them and not worry about them. The more that you can find out what your friends and family's needs are, people that you meet, the more that you can get to know them and ask them about themselves and be interested in them and find out what their needs are. And if they have needs that fall in line with what you've got, then you share that with them. And the more that you care about other people and serve them, the more trust you build with them. And you know what, maybe you sell them some Hydrate, and it doesn't give you any Success Club points. It only gives you a little bit of volume, but who cares, right? Because volume is volume, and that's going to produce you've got somebody that that trusts you, that knows that you're looking out for them, and they buy some Hydrate right now, and next month they say, hey, I really like this stuff. Like, what else do you got? And so you can build that relationship. Don't feel like you've got to give them, this one shot to buy it. If they don't want to buy the challenge pack, then like, you're out. I'm moving on to the next person. Okay. Think of how you can serve them and form lasting long-term relationships. And you're going to have this solid base of people that know you, that trust you, and then they're going to not only continue to buy from you, but they're going to recommend that their friends buy from you. Okay, so have that mindset, have that long-term mindset of, I'm going to build this thing to last and really mean something, rather than just try to, have this mindset of, oh crap, I've got to hurry and sell products before the end of the month so I can hit Success Club. And, okay, look at it long term. Okay, broaden your mindset on that. Okay, last thing here. So we talked about the Emerald Factory, right? We talked about you've got to sign up coaches, you've got to teach those coaches to get to Emerald. Well, we talked about how do you get coaches, right? Is you give people good experiences, you meet their needs, and then you open your mouth, you talk to them, you say, hey, you like these products, this is it's working out great for you. Why, have you ever thought about doing what I'm doing? Like, this is wonderful. Share the experience with them, talk. Don't be afraid to share. Okay, and that's how you get coaches. Now, once you've got those coaches, how do you teach them to get to Emerald? Okay, we don't want to overcomplicate anything. You want to keep it pretty simple, because the more simple it is, the more what's the word? Like repetitive, like the more duplicatable it is, the more that coach could be like, oh, this is really simple. Like, I can do that. If you make it seem like this big grand thing, it's going to be too complicated. It's going to be too hard, and people get overwhelmed, and then they get overwhelmed, and then they quit. Okay, make it simple. Okay, how do you teach your coach to get to Emerald? Well, start by talking with your friends and family. Start with your warm market. Okay, talk with your parents, your siblings, cousins, your next door neighbor. Whoever you've got close relationships with. Start talking to them. Okay, that's the easiest way to build. If you meet coaches that have been in this business for years and years, and they've got these huge organizations and they're ultra successful, if you look at their downline, you talk to them, I will almost guarantee you that the people that are the foundation of their business and that have helped them to build the biggest and strongest are their friends and their family. Okay, people that they know and that already have relationships with. So I don't feel like you have to get in this business and, start a like page and, start attracting all these people to you. And, no, just start with the people closest to you. Okay. Start simple. You can sign up your spouse. Okay. You've got one coach already knocked out right there. All you need to do is find one more. That's it. Okay. Sign up a spouse and you're halfway there. And like I said, just talk, talk to people, open your mouth and get to know people, get to know their needs. And then the last part of there is just help, right? Like I said, it's not going to be too complicated. Just help other people. Be a resource. Be willing to give even if it doesn't mean a direct sale to you, but be willing to serve and to help other people. Be a resource. Help them with whatever, if parenting advice or whatever. It doesn't have to be solely Beachbody related, but the more that you can build that trust and respect from other people, the more they're going to come back to you, right? Think about that big long-term perspective, not just about a sale. Okay. All right. So that's all I had prepared. So if you guys have any questions or anything, we can talk about that. If not, we can just end there. Okay. Anybody have anything that was unclear on that or want to talk any further about that stuff? Hang on, Sandra. I gotta unmute you.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everything was really clear. That was good. My question is about discount coaches. And, I always was kind of building for rank, right? I didn't know any different. And I know that there's a lot of coaches and probably many that have left now to go sell wine or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That were saying, I did what I was supposed to do and I built all these, I built this huge team and I hit elite and I couldn't put food on the table. And I'm going to suggest that probably that team was full of discount coaches, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what if we're doing an Emerald Factory, should we be discouraging people to sign up discount coaches? Because at one point everyone was saying, okay, they're in on the challenge group. Now, would you be interested in a discount? Mm-hmm. And from this model, I would say we should not be doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hate to give like a hard, fast rule on stuff like that, because you're right. If you're, you hit elite and you're having trouble putting food on the table, then there's no way that you built solidly and, you built like an actual organization. You just signed up any coach you could find and you kind of forced it and made your way there.
Yeah.
If you're building the Emerald way, we talked about the numbers last week, like the numbers were crazy when you look at actually producing volume. So if you've got, if you run a challenge group and you've got a coach in there that's kind of like on the edge, they don't know, and you suggest that, hey, you sign up to get a discount. If they want to sign up and they want to be a coach and whatever, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I don't know that I would just try to sign up anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
There are coaches that are very successful right now that signed up as a discount coach, and all they wanted was just to get the 25% off. And then, after a little while they decided, hey, maybe we'll try this out. And they became very successful. So I don't that's why I hate to say no, sign up discount coaches, because you never know. But then I also don't want to say like, yes, sign up anybody and everybody, because you lose your commission on them. If they're just a discount coach, you don't get commission on anything they buy anymore. But, I don't know. I don't know that I would put like a hard rule on that.
I had one coach that had, I think it was 12 either coach or customers that were taken from her and signed up as coaches under another coach. And so there was this part of me that thought, man, if she had signed them up as coaches in the beginning, they would not have been able to do that, right? So I saw the benefit of that.
Yeah.
But again, she wouldn't have been getting any of the commission. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like this, right? So that's what I wanted your opinion on, because when you look at that, that chart that you had with the diamond with sort of all discounts, who wants to do all that work and then make $52?
Right. Yeah.
Like, not me. And I don't want my coaches to do that either, because then why continue if you're only making $52? But
exactly.
I also feel sort of like sometimes, maybe people need the discounts. So
yeah, exactly. I honestly, I would, like I said, I not put a hard rule on it. If they want to sign up as a coach just to have the discount, then great. Sign up as a coach. They can get the discount. Keep in touch with them. Keep helping and serving them, and maybe they'll turn into an active coach later. But again, I would lead with what are that person's needs. If they don't really want to be a coach, they don't really care about the discount. They just want to be a customer. Great. Still stay in touch with them, and maybe later on they will sign up as a coach. Maybe they won't, and they'll just continue as a customer. That's okay. I would just kind of lead with, what does that person need and how can I serve them? And if you have a good relationship with you're serving them, then I would hope that they wouldn't just, leave for somebody else. But yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a thought. Hopefully my daughter will be quiet. But I changed the way I talked about coaching opportunity after reading this book. So I'm just recommending it.
Yeah.
Sandra, have you read it before? Oh, yeah. So I just think, for that, I don't really, there's just so many reasons why the business is such a great opportunity that I think if we're getting to know them and leading with why it makes sense for them to do it, then I think it kind of makes up for itself. But I do have a coach. I have a coach that she was a discount coach only for 2 months. And then now she's like, now my best coach. So I'm like, I'm not discouraging it by any means, because basically when they become a discount coach, you add them to your team page or whatever you do. And then if they see all these other people, as you're recognizing people and for the help that they're giving to others, then I think naturally they'll want to be a part of it. Or at least they'll know you know, that they already are plugged into an opportunity and they just need to start working.
Right. Yeah. So what do you like about that book?
It just really is good about like helping you get over fears about talking about coaching, and it really helps to categorize, like to put people in different like reasons why it would be a good idea for them to think about coaching. You know, they're just like, when someone, you know, when a mom goes on maternity leave, and you know, or when they're going back to school, you know, it's just opportunities to talk about the coaching opportunity to them. Or, you know, that's when you put them on your list. You start like having conversations with them, and then, you know, you find their needs. And typically it's like, you know, when they start to go back to work, you're like, you see those posts saying, gosh, this sucks. You know, like I want to stay home with my kids. So it just really helped me open my eyes to more people that would be interested in coaching. Like before, it was just like the people who I was, you know, like I was a stay-at-home mom. And then I was kind of just thinking about those people. But then, I mean, now I'm working again too. And so it just helps, like, I don't know, broaden my perspective of who would like the coaching opportunity. But again, like starting with their needs, like you said. But yeah, it just helped build a lot of confidence in the approach.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I've heard great things about that book. I know Tiffany's got it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a strong language, like as far as like pushing people, which, you know, I don't think we're about. But
Bye.
Baby, bedtime.
Hello. I know. Well, you guys are earlier than us, right?
Yes, she just didn't take a nap today.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for the call.
All right. If nobody has anything else they want to mention or talk about. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. And yeah, make sure and pass this along to your coaches and help them to build.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.